Growing up, I never really excelled in anything. I was involved in a lot of sports, and it was never good enough. I was always being compared to a teammate or somebody else, just constantly being pointed at, like, look what they're doing, do it like them. It never made me feel good enough. Like, I was never worthy of feeling that acceptance, or that somebody actually was like, good job, Alisha. I think that is where the not feeling worthy or good enough stemmed from. I started going to a youth group in junior high, and I didn't understand anything about the Bible or God, but pretty much the only thing that I can remember from that time was sin, and that our sin separates us from God, but I never really heard how to get back to Him. So in my mind, it was just like constant sin all of the time. I wasn't worthy of God. I didn't know how to fix that. In high school, I got into a relationship with this guy. We were together for 3 years, and right away it became physical. It got to the point where I would only see him when that physical aspect was needed, or he just wanted it. And I started to feel used, but at the same time, in my mind, it was like, well, if I don't give this to him, then he's gonna find somebody else who will, somebody better. And I was so attached that I couldn't walk away from it. And just the feeling of being so scared of not being worthy just compelled me to keep doing that, even though I knew that it wasn't making me feel worthy anyway. He ended up cheating on me, and in my mind, it was just so much confusion. Like, I had given this guy what he wanted, and I thought that if you did that, then they would stick around because you were good enough. And here I was giving everything to him, but it still wasn't good enough. And it was just the worst I think I've ever felt in my entire life. The most unworthy I'd ever felt. When I got to college, I knew that I wanted my life to change. I knew that I wanted to learn more about God, because something was compelling me to pray, and I wanted to understand why. I got hooked up into this organization on campus, and I started to learn more about God and His character, and the thing that stuck out to me the most was God's love. In Philippians, it talks about how Jesus humbled Himself and came down to earth and died on the cross for our sins. It didn't say Jesus had to come down and save us. He chose to come down, and I never understood that until that moment. The fact that I was turning away from God and clearly just wanting nothing to do with Him, and He still came down and loved me and died on the cross, was huge. It wasn't anything that I did, it wasn't anything I was going to do, and He just gave me this awesome gift. And it really resonated in my heart, and it just captivated me. I was so amazed that the God of the universe would love me that much, that I was actually worthy of that love, and I was forgiven of my sins, and I did nothing to deserve it. For the first time, I felt the void in my heart was actually filled. I didn't need to turn to guys or relationships to feel worthy or desired, because I had a God who pursued me daily and loved me no matter what. I still struggle with finding worth in things other than God, and it's a daily reminder to look vertically to God to find my worth and my satisfaction. But then I remember that Jesus didn't have to come down and die for my sins, that He chose to, and that it was a gift. A gift that none of us deserve, but that He places in front of us to take. Since I've taken that gift, I don't have that void in my heart anymore. God has completely filled it. My name's Alisha, and I am worthy, not because of anything I've done, but because of what Jesus did for me.